Tommy Broughan. 30 seconds to introduce.
Thanks, Lascan. Yeah, just asking the Minister for a brief update on any supportive actions that Ireland has taken in relation to the Kurdish nation, which, as you know, Minister, is located in Turkey, within the Turkish state and within Syria, within Iraq and also within Iran. Your colleague and your predecessor, Deputy Flanagan, told me last year, I think, that the conflict resolution unit in the department was attempting to assist the Kurdish people in Turkey, and I wondered if that's ongoing or if anything has happened at the Foreign Affairs Council. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you for this question. It reminds me of quite some time ago I visited Erbil in a different time in history. It was actually just after the Iraq War at the time, and they're an extraordinarily resilient people, the Kurds, and indeed in Kurdish parts of Turkey also. A referendum on independence was held by the Kurdish regional government in September 2017. On the 6th of November, the Federal Supreme Court of Iraq issued an opinion stating that the referendum was illegal, and the Kurdistan regional government has confirmed its respect for that opinion. The federal government has taken steps to re-establish the presence at Iraq's external border crossings, including the international airports in the Kurdistan region. I recognise that following the referendum, there are a number of issues that need to be addressed by Erbil and Baghdad, and I call on both parties to engage in a constructive and comprehensive dialogue. Ireland supports efforts towards mutually agreed solutions based on the full application of the provisions of the Iraqi constitution. In June 2017, Council conclusions, in its June 2017 Council conclusions, the EU reiterated its steadfast support for Iraq's unity, sovereignty and territorial integrity, and its firm and active commitment to the preservation of the multi-ethnic, multi-religious and multi-confessional nature of Iraqi society, including the protection of its minority groups. In order to achieve the objective of building a common vision on the future of the country, the EU believes that it's now essential for Iraqis to embark on an inclusive process of reconciliation, both at a national and local level. The EU believes that the general interests of the Iraqi people is best served through that dialogue and cooperation. And I want to take this opportunity to reiterate Ireland's support for the unity and the territorial integrity of Iraq. Ireland has consistently called for inclusive democratic measures to allow for genuine national reconciliation in order to create the environment for long-term viable stability in Iraq and the wider region. If there were specific commitments made by my predecessor in relation to this to you, Deputy, I'll certainly follow up on that and see where we're at.
Broughan.
Thanks, Minister. It's interesting to hear that you are in Erbil. When I asked Minister Flanagan about the whole situation with the Kurdish people, and I think in this era where we are now, in 1920, I think Kurdistan was to be established as an independent state, and then following the disastrous Greek and Turkish war, as you know, that opportunity was lost in Lausanne. But I asked him in relation to Turkey, first of all, whether or not the annual report on Turkey, whether that's been received by the Foreign Affairs Council, and particularly in relation to the wave of repression that occurred in Turkey following the attempted coup in 2016. You've mentioned in relation to obviously Iraq, one of the few positive elements of the Iraq war was that the autonomous region of Kurdistan emerged from that, and I just wondered, have we any specific relationship with that region? I note what you said in relation to the referendum, and of course also the very large populations of Kurdish people in Syria and also indeed in Iran, where there has been very severe repression over the decades, as in Turkey. Thanks, Ken.
I mean, just to put on the record my admiration for Kurdish people. I mean, they have been an extraordinarily resilient people and have played a very significant part in facing extremism and terrorism within Iraq, and directly fighting Islamic State. I don't have any details in relation to the Turkey report, but I can follow up on that, Deputy. And in relation to our direct supports to the regional government in Erbil, I'll need to follow up on that for you. But I'll come back to you on it because it's an area that I'm interested in.